Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So I was going to do a different video today, but I decided to just keep it simple. Do a simple character, or a couple, we'll see how many we get through. I'm going to give myself about half an hour. And talk about what's going on with me, what's going on with the channel, and all that. But we'll start off by talking about a kind of interesting character actually. Because I'm not sure if this is I think this is the rare variant. I just looked it up. So it's the rare variant. Grabbing the right screwdriver. There we go. It is Samson. Now I picked up a lot recently that local, which is weird because I live in the middle of nowhere. But it was a local lot of actually a fairly wide selection of characters for $20, $30, and it's a really interesting lot. I should show off the rest of it in another video. But it had, does this fit? Yes. Had this guy. This is Samson, but it's actually the interesting version. See, there's two versions of Samson, all right? If you get an earlier one, it's got no number, but the later ones do. So if you got the one in the 3-pack, it's called the Greatest Moments, no number. Does this make it rarer? From a certain point of view, yes, it does. Obviously, there are less of these than there are the 2-pack releases. I don't think it makes it substantially rarer, though. But I have not looked at any of these, by the way. I don't even know what condition they're in. So this one's got, obviously, his wheels are shot. Although I think these are the same wheels that you find on Emily. I think this is the right chassis. I think it's this. I think this is the right chassis. I've just looked at it and gone, let me quickly check. The wiki. Seems a bit of a catch-all. I think it's the dark grey wheels. I don't think there's any other colour. But as you can see, the tyres on this thing they're just shot. That's very typical. I haven't found a proper solution to that problem yet. I like this. This is a ratcheting screwdriver. It's actually, I got this at a local store. Kind of like it. So let's talk life. Before that actually, there is a bit of corrosion on this. Do I need a new, let's have just a quick scrape test. It actually should be fine. The way I test it is if you, there you go. If you ever want to test the corrosion, if corrosion's affected these, just bend up a little bit. If it snaps like that, corrosion got to it. Very common motor. I'm actually going to try and start sourcing these as well as some other ones, just because these don't last. They're not as good as the Tomy ones, I'll admit. Okay. Grab my tool. Let's talk life for a minute. Where have I been? Well, I moved. If you've been up to date on my updates, you would have seen that I moved, and that was fun. Actually, it was nice for the first couple of weeks because I've missed being where I am now. It gives me space for a start. I mean, I'm talking to you now in a dedicated Thomas room, and it's dedicated towards the repairing and the selling and the displaying. It's great, love it. But, so it was good for a few weeks, and then it flooded. And then it rained, I should say. It rained, and then it flooded. And then it kept flooding. And kept flooding, and kept flooding. I'll be honest, I'll just be upfront. I live in North Queensland, and if you see anything about North Queensland as an Australian at the moment, yeah, we've had it a little bit rough. And most of North Queensland was cut off because of a little bridge. I thought that was hilarious. it's really highlighted deficiencies in our road system, for a start. Highlighted deficiencies in our response to natural disasters, but I think it's also shown the best and worst of the human condition, I guess. You've seen some really nice people during this whole event. You've seen some real scumbags. Especially those entitled who think that they deserve special treatment. I think by the same token, people have the right to be somewhat frustrated. I mean, where I was, we were out of power for a week, which was, for some people, was just, unimaginable. Because some people haven't experienced this, and I'll even admit some of the worst disasters I've had, because I'm a local, I guess, haven't been this bad. I feel like this takes the cake for being exceptionally terrible. It's not quite the worst on record, but to get to the worst on record, we're talking going back to ancient history, essentially. It does make me wonder if you can fake the lack of number. It's potential. You could potentially fake it, but then you'd also have to find a chassis that's from 2015. Because I believe that was 2015 only. And then if you wanted to get later ones, then 2016, 2017, that was when they added the number and they never took it away. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. But that's what happened, and now I had a bit of cleanup. Minor damage, I guess people are just frustrated. Alright, let's try and find ourselves a motor and a wheel set. Are my wheel sets upstairs yet? They should be. Yes. I'm still in the midst of organising. No. No. But come on. I appear to have lost the wheel sets. No, wait. I will be right back because I believe that Nope, wait. I found the wheel sets. They were in another drawer. Like I said, I'm going to try and find a solution to this problem. But, ooh, and that's the sound of a car. Dab that in there. This is actually pretty clean. What was I saying? Yeah, so things are starting to return back to normal, and I was able to go out and get these desks. These are brand new desks, and they're already dirty. Great. I can remember this. It goes like that. Yep. Now motor. And I'm pretty sure they're downstairs. I think they are, at least. The motors are not with me right now, so I will go and get those and be right back. I'm back. And found a motor. We'll just... although I have to say it's funny. So we're either flooding here or heat waving, because today was another scorcher. The weather was 40 degrees Celsius. Yes, that's great. But it felt like, according to this weird weather app I use, it felt like 50 degrees. 50 degrees. I should throw up a conversion for all you Americans who use Fahrenheit, but all you need to know is that is hot. Essentially, a simple rule would be, if temperature boils at 100, whatever your Fahrenheit equivalent is, it was 50 degrees below that. Yeah, it's hot. And I don't know if anyone keeps up to date on my cars. I sometimes post them on Twitter, sometimes post them here. I do not have air-conditioned cars, which was something I always knew would come to bite me, and it has now. But, you know, you get used to it, is what I would like to say, but you don't. It is still hot now, and it is about 8 o'clock at night. But, you know, this is nice. Despite being a complete shit show, to be frank, I've really enjoyed this. You know, it's nice to be back. And, you know, it's also nice to be able to go back to filming a couple of videos. We'll do one more character, I reckon. We've got time, I think. But this Samson's cool. Jumping all over the place today. But this Samson's cool, you know? It's different. I can appreciate a character who's rare because he's different. Throw that on. 736, yes. Okay. Throw that on. Do a quick test. Quantum, yeah, I don't know why I'm using these. These are the only batteries I had on hand. Nothing. Okay. Bit of gunk, there's a bit of gunk on there. A bit of test now. Okay. Or contact, or is it? So we turn our attention to this part. Okay. It's annoying. Simple design, but sometimes they require a little bit of tinkering. Let's check this motor. Let's check out the motor. Okay. Okay. Let's clean this grease off. This is meant to be a quick and easy one, but fucking they always throw you a bit of a head scratcher. But now I'm curious, why doesn't this motor work? This will require a bit of an autopsy. Okay. Now it looks all right. Ah. Is that rust? I don't think so. A bit of that excess grease though. I don't really open these up. I'm thinking of just buying, frankly, just buying some new motors because I'm kind of sick and tired of using ones I've got for parts from other engines because they just have issues. Every single one has. Okay, we're gonna just grab a different motor. See if it's just the motor or what. Frustrating. Yep, they work 90% of the time straight away. But it's that other 10%. Okay, let's see. Okay, so it's just the motor. Frustratingly. Okay. This is why I'm like, well, I need to just buy some replacement motors. Screw it back down. And then we can call it a day. And we're going to do one more. So back to what I was saying. Sorry, that was a segue because that was frustrating. But yeah. What else can I talk about? Meanwhile, in America, no, I'm not going to talk about American politics. That is a topic that's not even worth looking at right now. How's the community going? I don't even really know, honestly, how the community's going either. Everyone seems to be cranky at each other. Although that's kind of just Twitter's thing now, is everyone's just cranky at each other. I mean, look, honestly, like, I look at the range, you know, I feel like I'm enjoying what they're releasing, you know? I don't think it's stuff I want to buy yet. Well, I was tempted today, actually. I walked into one of the stores I featured in that video that did really well, which I really need to do a follow-up to. And there was a lot of stock. Like, geez. I filmed a video of it, of the stock, and I was like, wow. Come on. Am I going? Okay, I'm going insane. I filmed a video of the stock and was like, wow, actually, I'm impressed by the vast amount of stock that they had. It was quite impressive. Like, and the thing was, it wasn't like, oh, wow, a whole lot of Thomases. It wasn't even like that. There were Henrys. And I'm not saying, like, oh, there was one or two. There was, like, a good 7 Henrys. I went, wow. And I don't even hate how they look. I'll be completely honest. I think Thomas looks obnoxious. Percy looks not bad. You know? And I think a lot of them sort of starting to look that way. I mean, Edward doesn't look too bad either. I'd say we're not in a renaissance period, but I am liking what's coming out. Even if aesthetically the show's not exactly to my taste, I can appreciate the fact that, to be honest, if you want to objectively view the merchandise on how it looks compared to the show, it's the best it's been in years. The merchandise is really spot on. I'd say maybe the motorized stuff is a little bit, but the diecast stuff, I'm not going to say that we're at hurdle levels, but in terms of realism to the show, the diecast stuff is really good. And I think that that's I don't think that's a hot take, it's just objectively true. What else do we have in here? Is that an Edward? It is. But no tender, which is weirdly not the first time that's happened. Huh. You know, I'll be honest, I bought this lot because it was cheap. I didn't really look at what was in it. So an Edward. This guy, Edward. Oof. Wrong chassis, but I'll just... But Edward's become shockingly expensive for this version. You'd find I think it's because it was just really rare. I actually have one of these boxed. Do not ask me where I got it from. I cannot recall. But he's really expensive. He's expensive, and I think that I actually think Revolutions was really good. You know, I'm actually a pretty bad Thomas fan because I tend to like everything. I think it has to be really, really bad for me to go, yeah, that was crap. I mean, like, I'll be real. I don't even hate wood. You know, I could appreciate the aesthetic on some of the engines, and I think that there's some redeemable characters there. And I think there are some that are so bad, it almost treads into them just being hilarious. Like, it's just hilarious. I mean, who's a character that's really bad that I love? Oh, Steven. Steven's so bad. But he's so goofy. It just kind of works. Do I think he's good? Didn't say that, but I think he's so bad that it's just... And that's why I think he's one of the more expensive ones. People go, wow, he's so bad. I want him. And then Wooden Railway's doing whatever Wooden Railway's doing. You know, in terms of like secondhand stuff, I've sort of kept up with prices. Wooden Railway's kind of like, if Tony's still getting more expensive, Wooden Railway's plateaued. But I also feel like the stock coming in, there's just not a lot of stock. This is pretty nice. This one's not this one. These were actually from, I think, an older, someone who had an older child who had Thomas. So a lot of these are really actually quite nice, condition-wise. Oh, look at that. There's barely, especially there's barely any grease, thanks Mattel. But there's barely anything that needs to be cleaned in there. Yep. My plan with these, yeah, definitely going to try and source some motors. Because I definitely want to replace the motors with these when I get them from going forward. I mean, to be fair, a lot of these aren't old yet, you know. But I kind of want to get ahead of the curve. Let's replace that wheel set. They go, what? Well, from your perspective, it doesn't look... It's not too bad. You know, it's passable, but... Yeah, we'll replace it. I got it. Trust me, I've got enough spares. Yep. I got way too many of these. Because you just scrap every Thomas. I think that Tommy Thomases are getting more expensive. But I'll be frank and say I don't think the bog standard Revolutions Thomas is ever going to be really, really pricey. Because they just made so many. You know, Revolutions, for what it's worth, seems to have sold really well. There wasn't a lot on shelves when it was discontinued. And really, it was mostly your bait. Like, you had Nia on shelves towards the end. And I can remember most of this. This is just me rambling again for another video. But there was... Toward the end... Because I bought a lot of the last new and box stock when it was going out at about $5 Australian a piece. A lot of it towards the end was really just your Thomases. It was Thomas. It was... Not Nia, no. No, yeah, Thomas, Nia. Just that. Thomas, Nia, one or two Jameses, maybe a handful of Percys was really what was left. And maybe, and like one Gordon, I think, was what I managed to pick up. So no, I don't think they'll ever be really expensive. Because again, so many sets. There's a lot of versions. Maybe some of them might, but I don't think anyone's really gone for a full collection of him yet. Although it'd be cool to see, actually, because there's a lot of Revolutions variants. Oh, come on. I wasn't even wrong with this one. Oh, no, it's just me being an idiot putting the battery in backwards. Yeah, it runs fine. That was easy. Should we do one more? We got time for one more. I got an event on. But let's talk more about the channel. So I'm going to be doing a bit of a mix this year. I'm going to try to film a video every 2 weeks. Try to make them actually decent. You know, I might just do a couple of these more bloggy style, where I just kind of chat. These might be a bit more frequent. But I try not to make this the weekly video. But I have, frankly, so many of these Revolution characters to get through that just doing a few, having a chat with you guys. I might even start just doing a live stream every now and then, because I have maybe about 100 of these to get through. Speaking of which, let's pick one more. Let's do Spencer. But yeah, you know, As for, so, a few different types of videos. Well, I'm sure do some Wooden Railway history ones. There's a lot to say there. Check this out, it's running. Yep. There's character cards, of course. I keep buying them. Honestly, they're 90% of what I buy now. I'm just really into them at the moment, you know. I ebb and flow with this kind of stuff. Sometimes I'm into Tomy, sometimes I'm into this, or sometimes it's that. It's very, very, very different. But, well, actually, I just picked up a really nice lot. That the next character card unbox is going to be huge because there's just so many characters I managed to like get away with. I mean, a few things I'll admit to. One, I was the guy who bought the funny card. Now, what's the funny card? Well, if you're into character cards at all, you may have noticed for quite a long time there was this seller trying to sell a yellow Thomas and the New Trucks card for about 300 Australian dollars. Now, me and Ryan talked about it on a live stream and said this was stupid, to be completely honest. And we could not fathom the kind of person who would buy that card. Well, I was chatting on Discord the other day, and I was like, should see if the card's still up. And I couldn't find it. And I was like, no way. No way someone bought it. And I was right, no one did. Instead, he dropped the price to $12 US. Now, I looked at that price and went, okay. That's not that bad. It's not great, but the card is a bit crap. But it is a rare card. You know, I still agree with the precedent that it is a rare card. You don't see them. Why am I cleaning this? This wheel set's got to go. You do not see the card. So I went, you know what? I'll shoot him off an offer. Offered him 8 US and went, we'll see what happens. He accepted it. So for the equivalent of about 20 Australian dollars, give or take, I picked up the card. Partly, I said to Ryan actually, 2 reasons why were partly because it was funny. I kind of wanted to be the guy to own the card, and now that it was a decent price, mediocre price. And secondly, yeah, it is a card I've been chasing. Not one you see a ton of. Yes. I only have 1 spare. Not a card you see a ton of. But it's funny, because I picked that card up for 20, but I just won a lot that had the blue or yellow font, so the previous style of that take-along card for Thomas and the New Trucks. So I've actually just basically got both. And I think that there's only 1 year for each. So I think I may have actually just finished that card, which is really actually nice because that card was going to be one of the painful ones. Unlike my Wooden Railway collection of cards, which is still larger than the take-along, my take-along collection I think is starting to reach a critical point. I think I'm nearly at the point where I've got at least 1 of each style of card for every relevant character. I'm not 100% sure on that. I think that I'd have to go through and check. I know like I don't have a yellow Thumper, but that's there's like 1 year for that, I think. So that's a pretty rare one. Don't like these yellowed wheels, but there's not much I can do. So there's that. I can't think of any others off the top of my head that I can go, yeah, I don't. Because I just got Bulgy, yellow Bulgy. I just got the Carnival cars, which was something I was looking forward to. The Carnival Toby, Carnival cars, they're not zoo cars. And the Pop and Popcorn car from that 4-pack, which is really cool though. Those are cards that I've been searching for far too long. Still missing some cards. I know like I don't have Percy and the Wharf cars. I think actually I might buy the boxed version. I'm not going to take the card out, but then I'm still need to get the card. It's mostly your weird ones, like your Day Out with Thomas, or your a couple of different variants of the birthday celebration. It's starting to get to the point where it's some really odd years and some really niche cards. And then I'm done. I still think I've got several, about 100 or more to go, but I have to do a proper count. I may actually do that when I do a video on that. Well, that's Spencer. And I think we'll call it there for today. But I might try to make these somewhat regular. Again, I've got to get through a lot of these repairs. So these might be more a weekly thing. Well, look at that, it's just disintegrating. I might try to make these a bit more often. But they're admittedly not that exciting. But, you know, if I have things to say, I'll just chat. I might turn these into a live stream going forward. And just do it like maybe an hour a week. Oh, that could work. But, anyway, thank you all for watching. And bye for now.